spring in Minnesota, a great time to prune grapevines. Proper pruning of grapevines means better grapes, and better grapes mean better wine. We'll cover basic pruning for a northern climate. For details on how to prune for your climate, check with your state university extension. Year 1, we take the initial shoot and we train it into a trunk. Year 2, we pick 2 healthy shoots and we train them to our trellis. We'll take the 2 healthiest shoots and train them on the trellis to form a cordon. We'll prune off the other shoots, leaving just the trunk and the cordons. To review quickly, our first shoot we train into a trunk in year 1, then in year 2 we take our 2 best shoots and we train them to the trellis to make cordons. Year 3, the trunk of our vine is gaining strength and circumference. We have cordons that are now trained to a trellis, and off each cordon we have new shoots. Toast yourself, you've learned 3 new terms. We have trunk, cordon, and shoot. Now we'll learn 3 new terms, and then we'll move on. The top of the trunk, where it stops, is called the head of the vine. In this vineyard, for this particular grape, the head is about 4 feet off the ground. You'll see vineyards where the head is higher or lower, depending on the use of the grape, the kind of trellis they're using. So it'll be okay to have different heights. In spring, a new green shoot grows from our cordon. And now, after the leaves have fallen in the fall, the shoot becomes a cane. For spring pruning, we're going to take last year's cane, and when we clip it again, it will become a spur. Working on a little older vine, here's the head and a nice thick trunk. We have a cane, and then a spur, and then a cane, and then a spur. Don't worry, you'll soon get the hang of it. Taking a close-up look, we have the cordon here, and we have a shoot from last year coming off, and we need to shorten the shoot now in spring to make a spur, so that we can control our fruit load. Let's count buds. We have a bud here, we have a bud here, we have a bud here, and we have a bud here, and so forth. On some varieties, this bud close to the cordon is not fruitful, so we won't count those buds. We'll count first a bud here and a bud here and make our cut out here. On other varieties, we will need to count this bud as 1, 2, and we'll make our cut here. Whatever you do, you want to keep good records, so when you go back into your vineyard, you can see how the fruit responded to your pruning. So let's count the buds on this cane. We have 1, 2, 3 buds, and we're looking for 2, so we have 1 bud, 2 buds, and we clip there. we need to prune this vine to control both the fruit load and the sun exposure. It's important in a northern climate to get good sun exposure on your grapes so that they ripen fully. This is a Frontenac vine that's growing on, the cordons are growing along the upper trellis wire. So let's estimate the fruit load on this particular vine. And we have 7 fruiting spurs on each cordon, and each spur has 2 buds. Now each bud will produce 2 clusters of grapes. We can look up the grape variety we're growing and we can find out what an average cluster will weigh. In this case, they will weigh about 4 ounces. First, simply convert pounds of grapes to ounces. Next, divide number of ounces by the number of ounces in a cluster to get the number of clusters. Once you know the total number of clusters, figure out the total number of buds. Finally, convert the number of buds to number of spurs. That's it. Don't worry, you'll have time to review, and if you make a mistake, it'll still turn out just fine. So why go to all this trouble? Well, remember, we want to get good sun exposure on our grapes, and we want to balance the fruit load on our vine so we don't overtax our vine. For more on selecting, growing, and caring for grapevines in the upper Midwest, see these sources of information.